Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. I'm going to turn you around here so you can see what a beautiful day we've got. Finally sun came out and the rain quit and the snow quit and we got a little wind today, but other than that I'm going to try to get on this start the body work on the TC125. The first thing I need to address is the side covers. Actually, I only have to address one. I've got a big split here and it's kind of damaged all the way down here. You can see a lot of cracks all the way down here, and the tab is missing where the bolt goes. So we've got to make that. So what we'll be doing is we'll be reinforcing the inside and starting the tab down from here, and then we'll build the tab up from here also. But this piece here, just the reinforcement on the inside, and then we'll put some body filler on this side to flatten it all out. And actually we've got a crack even up to here, so there'll be a lot of reinforcement in the back here. So that's the first thing we've got to do. The tank is in pretty good shape. I had some footage on this, and I actually my computer corrupted everything and I lost all that. So I took the old stripe off with one of the de-striping wheels. I can't remember, I think they call it a Kratex wheel or something like that. So that I can't show you because that's gone. And I went ahead and sandblasted the whole thing with my pressure blaster out in the backyard here. It's a little bit, it was really hard paint, so I couldn't do it in the bead blaster. I've got, just before I started, before I took the paint off, I tried to pull as many dents as I could with the paintless dent repair, PDR. And this one here was the worst one, and it's pretty much out. I'll probably use a stud puller and just pull it a little bit more. That's all I need. And then we'll put filler on the rest of it. And there's one little one over here that will just get filler. Can't hardly feel it. It's right here. This tank is in really good shape. The inside is just as clean as a whistle. That's why I bought it. And everything is really nice on this one. It just needed freshened up, so that's what we're going to do. So let me get on the fiberglass work. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some sandpaper and abrade it inside to give me a rough surface so the fiberglass repair will stick to it. Okay, I've got kind of the first coat on. I put some around up here just because it was cracked in one corner. Let's see, I believe it's this one. Yep, right here. To reinforce it a bit. And I've got the reinforcing here and in the middle over the break here. And we also have a crack right here. So I've got to come on around a little bit more. All you do is you just keep overlapping this matting, and then put your resin over it. It's a messy job, no doubt about it, but it does reinforce very well. And you really don't care what the inside of this looks like. Actually, it's just going to look black. It's just going to have this kind of checkered appearance in there. And what I've done here is I've overlapped this, or let it overlap, and right here is where the tab is going to be, right here in this location. So since there's not one there now, I have to have something to start from. So I'm allowing that just gravity to kind of hold this over, and when it's set up, then it'll be hard and sturdy. So then I can build onto it then. But in the meantime, I'll just add a little bit more resin over the top. Okay guys, I've got the side cover setting, finishing its curing, and I'm going to work on this dent a little bit. And I don't know whether or not you're familiar with a stud puller. Like I said, I pulled as much as I could when I still had paint on it with the paintless dent repair. Otherwise you glue pullers onto it and then pull it. It'll just do so much. This is a little bit, I just need a little bit more to go, and it being rough surface, it'll no longer stick. So I'm going to weld one on here, and you've got these special little pins, and this is your ground, this is your hot. So you find your low spot on your dent, which it's kind of a crease. I need one right about there, and you see it just welds it to it. And not to worry, we're going to grind it off, but I think I'm going to need one more because it's kind of a crease. It runs up to here, so we'll put one more right there. It's just a temporary thing, because if you stay on the power very long, you'll end up burning a hole through it. I'm going to try to just pull it manually. You can use a slide hammer, but you can run the risk of pulling it too far, and then you've got to tap it back down. So I think we've got it. Yep, that feels pretty good. Now I'll cut these off and grind them off. Okay, what I do is I just reach down here with a pair of side cutters and cut the studs off, and then just grind them back off. Just like that. And once I get those ground off, I just take my DA kind of work it over. Just to kind of broaden that out a little bit. And I know there'll be more little spots that I need to take care of, but with some wax and grease remover, I'm going to go ahead and clean the areas where I'm going to put the Bondo, or the filler, whatever you want to call it. And we'll just let that dry. Dries pretty quick. And while we're waiting on that to dry, we'll mix up a little filler. Of course, this is a lot more than I'll ever need. And then you need a little hardener. You just mix it according to the instructions, or I've mixed a lot of it in my life, so I've got a pretty good feel of what I need. Okay, this should be dry enough to just put a little beyond your repair. Most of this gets sanded off. And you never get it all the first time. So, like I said, a lot more than I needed. But you'd rather have more than not enough when you're putting it on. And do not put it back in the can. Shouldn't need to say that. Okay, just a little teaser here. This is the green that we're going to use. I'm sure it's not even really close to what it should be, the factory, but I think it's going to look real good. And I was able to do about 3 different samples the other day, and this is the one that turned out the best. And that's what we'll be doing. Now we get over here on the gas tank again, and we're getting pretty dry. So the first thing I do to take off the top, I just use a cheese grater to take off any of the really high spots. And you do that before it gets really cured. That way it comes off all right. See, these are got some pretty tall ones there. Just keeps you from having to sand so much. And this should be all the Bondo that I may need some polyester putty, but this should be the end of the Bondo. Okay. And we'll switch over to the DA again, and we'll use a little 80 grit. I usually kind of concentrate on feathering out the edges first, just around the whole patch, if you want to call it that. So you're thinning out the outside first, and then we come back in and start working on the inside. And you don't want to take too much off, because if you do, you're probably going to have to put it back on. I think I'm going to stop about there, and I'll work on the other side a little bit. Same thing here, just work your outside edges first, feather them down a bit. Then you put your power tools away. Otherwise, you'll just keep putting it on and taking it off. And I don't know about you, I don't like doing that any more than I have to. Okay, we're getting pretty close for the start anyway. And I did notice I've got another little dent right here below this. And this needs a little bit out here, so I'm going to use some polyester putty to skim that. I think some people just call this a skim coat. It's not near as stiff. And it's really easy to sand. Mix it much the same way. And once you get plenty on there, and I use it to just go around the outside also to feather it a little bit further out, since it is much easier to sand. just branch out a little bit further with what you put on before. All right, I've ready to throw some primer on it. And I've already got this mixed up in here. I just stirring it up a bit, and we're just going to put it in. This is not epoxy or anything, so you don't have to. I always use just a basic primer at first while I'm trying to get everything leveled down and to get all my dents filled properly, because we're going to use a guide coat and go over them and sand it and reprime it, sand it again many times probably before everything is all said and done. And I've already gone over it with the tack cloth, but I'll give it another little shot there. And let me get my respirator on. And let's give it a shot here. I'm going to back you up just a little bit so I don't get paint on you. Okay guys, primer's dry. I can already see a few other smaller dents. We'll be taking care of those, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is give it a shot of a guide coat. I just use some Krylon, and I put this on very thin. You just want some speckles on there basically. And then as you sand it, you're gonna, the high spots, the black will sand off, and the low spots are where you still have black. All this is geared toward is getting a flat surface, and you know, a true body man would be able to just feel it, but I'm not one, so I rely on a guide coat to tell me visually what's going on. Another thing that I've done is I've come in and I've done a little bit more on the side cover here. I'm beefing up the existing tab up here, and of course down here we had to make one. This one here was all broke off, so I've got a lot of material in here, and this is all reinforced on the back where it's cracked on the outside. So as soon as I get the tab done and I'll drill it, make sure all the holes line up. Then we'll work on the other side with some filler over there to make the other side look good. As of right now, it's just, you know, we've just got the reinforcement, and I actually had to go with some of the fiberglass up here in order to marry the back with the front for the tab. The outline of the black that you see is the tab that I need. So all this will be cut off, the extra stuff. So we'll let this dry. I'll come back out and we'll do our first sanding, and we'll just see how it works out. All right, guys, got the side covers pretty dry, so I'm going to trim it a little bit, and then I'll probably have to go back into it and give it some more. But as of right now, I'm just going to trim at it a little bit. The air bubble there, I'll have to deal with that. Well, it might have been in a place where it's not going to be a problem. Okay, we got that trimmed up pretty good. It's kind of a dish right here, so I need to build this up a little bit more. Now that I have something in there to support it, I can go back in, build this up as thick as I need to. This side just needs a little bit. I've ground down to the original piece right here, so I just need to build up from here up to here. Fairly, several more layers, and really the same over here, and give me enough so that I can flatten both sides out and make it look right. This side here, all I needed was a little extra reinforcement, so it's probably pretty much good to go. Just need to re-drill a hole, and then we can start working on the filler on this side. But that's the tab that was missing. Now let me get into the gas tank a little bit. Okay, I'm out here so that I can get water all over the place without it being a problem. So I've got some soapy water. Use a little Dawn dish soap in it. I've got a little flat flexible pad, and I'm going to start out with a little 220 grit sandpaper, wet and dry. There's a difference. And then we just start sanding the tank. Like I said, the high spots will turn gray quick, and the low spots will remain black. And that's how to use your guide coat. And then we'll be filling all the low spots after we get there. Let me work on this a little bit and I'll bring you back. Okay guys, you can see that we've cut into the body filler we put here, and you can see some black spots here. That's low. This is high. This is high. Got some low over here. I did notice we've got a little dent here, and there's a little dent there. Got a pretty good one right there. I didn't notice before. And on this side here, we've got a little bit down here yet that we didn't quite get filled. And it's probably going to run all the way up into here. There's little spots. So we'll put another coat of icing on it. That's the polyester putty. And then we'll work from there. None of this stuff is really deep. Some of these little dark spots are like rust pits from there had been water under the paint. The paint was pretty bad shape, so it got into there. But this is all this has all been bead blasted, so all the rust is gone. And then we sprayed a converter on it. So let me go ahead and I'll put another coat of polyester putty in the places I need to, and I'll sand it, and then I'll bring you back when I get closer to the end of this part of it. And just to take another look at the side cover here. Like I said before, this tab was all broken off, so we've got a start of one on there. So we've just got to build it up a little bit here on the back and build it a little bit more here in the middle. And then we'll put some filler out here and go ahead and sand all this and blend it and get it ready for paint also. And there was a crack up here on this side. That's why I went ahead and reinforced all this. And you can see on the back here where I've put the fiberglass, and all this white will come out of there. It's just dust, but that's all reinforced behind where this is broken right here. So that should be a good repair. Just needs to be more of it. Okay guys, I'm going to call it a day on this one. I think got a lot of work to do. Probably another I'm going to say 5 or 6 sandings, filling, primer, sanding again, until I've got this nice and flat and ready for paint. And another thing, when you're doing this, you see all these high spots. This time I used 220 grit sandpaper, and as probably the next time I will also. But then after that, I'll drop down to 400. And at that point, you're going to see less and less of this cutting through. And the whole object is not to cut through. You'll sand it lightly using a block, and you just keep after it until you have no black spots showing and no silver spots showing. So everything is good and flat at that point and you're ready for paint. It'll take a while to get to there, but that's what you've got to do. Sure enjoyed today with the door up and the wonderful weather. It's clouding up a little bit. I think we're supposed to maybe get a little rain tonight, but that's okay. The sun's going to be back out tomorrow, and it's going to be another nice day. And I think we've got 3 or 4 of them. So I'm going to enjoy it. I'm enjoying being able to get some of this body work done, and I've got a ton of it to do because I've got fenders to paint. I've got 3 more gas tanks to paint. I got to get all the painting and all that stuff done on all these bikes before winter sets in. So we'll be doing a lot of body work, but I'll try to break it up with some of the other stuff. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.